evening, everybody, from a very wet Southern California. It has been raining most of the afternoon. The track has got a pretty fair soaking, and talk about driver skills. The test on this track tonight. Along with my partner, Mike Galloway. Ken Bruce speaking to you. And, Mike, I guess you can never truly predict the weather, can you?
Well, not even in Southern California. Most of the day was beautiful, Ken. The track was great. Had a lot of good lines in it. Everything was wonderful. And then about the middle of the afternoon, the skies opened up, and only moments ago has it quit raining.
And the rain continues and continues. And among other things here tonight at the Big A in Anaheim, a salute to the greatest oval driver in IndyCar history. Rick Mears was on hand tonight for a special presentation to the Mickey Thompson Entertainment Group.
The history of Mickey Thompson goes back to 1979, where a track much like this one here in Anaheim was installed in the LA Coliseum. Rick Mears was the winner of the inaugural Mickey Thompson Stadium off-road event in the LA Coliseum, only a few weeks after winning his first Indy 500. He won in both the Baja Bug and the Unlimited single-seaters. Even though Rick is now retired, Mickey Thompson Off-Road Series will always call him one of their own.
Well, earlier tonight we saw an interesting development in the Super 1600 Heat Race #1, and it involved last year's champion Jerry Whelchel in the #1 Toyota. Watch this.
Watch Jerry Whelchel go up, over, and when he does, the #5 car right there comes underneath him, and Gary Gill, that's the way it started, and it couldn't have started any worse. They can't get untangled. Whelchel's up on top, Gary Gill's on the bottom, but we got a restart.
We go to a restart, and what does Whelchel do? He wins by a good, I'd say a good 45 seconds with some great driving. Over the finish line and taking the checker flag, and unquestionably a great heat race in the first heat race of the year. And a reminder that our next Mickey Thompson telecast comes your way on Sunday, March the 21st. We'll be a couple of hours down the road from where we are right now at Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego, California. Check your local listings for the time on ESPN. Back at the Big A in Anaheim, California, Orange County, California. Heat race #2 in the Super 1600s. I'll tell you what, they had to watch that first heat race, Mike, and see Whelchel have all his problems. Maybe they'll take it a little less of a risk here as they begin this.
No way, Ken.
Think they'll just lay into it, huh?
No, this is racing. If it gets green, we're going to go.
This is racing after a layoff, too. I mean, these guys have been itching to get out here on this track for months.
I like Marty Hart. New transmission in the car. He said before tonight he had to baby the car and then had to stand on it in the feature. I don't have to baby it tonight. I can run wide open through the heat races and into the feature.
And here's a classification that is wide open with 4 of the top 7 drivers from last year retiring or limiting their racing. So even with Whelchel available, this is a classification that's wide open, and we're all set and off and running at heat race #2 here at the Super 1600s. And most of the drivers, as we've seen all night, elected to go to that outside, that screened right lane. And we've got a leader already here in Bob Gordon, who has taken the lead as we move through the rhythm section for the first time in this heat race. He's in that black and white and red. Very nice color. Oh, we've got a big pileup back in turn #6, and again at the top of turn 7. Several of these Super 1600s having trouble, but now all but one appear to be going. Doesn't affect Gordon, who continues to lead the race. Gordon out in front just barely as he goes through turn #2 for the second time tonight.
Well, watch Gordon negotiate these turns. I don't understand, he was kind of forced to go to the outside earlier. Marty Hart went that way. Marty made up a lot of ground that time, Ken. Marty Hart is going to challenge Bob Gordon before the night's over with.
Marty Hart right on the tail of Gordon, stalled traffic in turn #6, and that is going to make it more than a little dicey for the Super 1600 drivers.
Well, Bob Gordon right now out in the lead, Marty Hart in the #2 spot, and right down to
Wes Banks is running 3rd.
Wes Banks has come up to 3rd, but I don't know. Gordon is stretching the lead, but here again, now he's changed the line that he's taking, and we've got got cars that are slowing down in front of Gordon. This is going to be very interesting to see how they come out at number 5.
Gordon not only has to navigate around the stalled traffic, he's got lap traffic in front of him too, and that may play into Marty Hart's hand. We'll see. Hart still running second, and running third is Wes Banks. The leader, of course, Bob Gordon, right there at the bottom of the screen. And as they come over that triple jump, again, a great camera angle to show you exactly how that track is holding together a lot better now as we moved in to this, the middle of the racing evening.
Well, Baja Bob coming up, and
we got a problem down here. I think Marty Hart is stalled out.
With anything, but there's Marty Hart.
He's okay now, or is he? No, he's departing. Hart will go back into the pits.
Well, that's going to put a lot of distance between Bob Gordon and the number 2 competitor. And I do mean a lot of distance. I think the number 2 competitor is going to be Wes Banks, driving the number 21 car. And Bob Gordon, he comes off the course.
Gordon has got problems.
He leaves the course.
He is stalled right at the top of turn number 1. So the top 2 drivers are...
Broke the axle. No, that's not an axle. Yes, it is. I believe that is an axle.
Well, that puts it in the hands of Wes Banks, who was running second or third not 2 minutes ago. Now he's got the lead.
Well, he was running that third position and was a long way. Oh, look at this, Ken. He's in trouble. That took out the number. Well, can he get back in it, though? Can he get back in it before another car gets by? He doesn't do it. He drops position.
Goshen in the lead after the top 3 drivers all experience difficulty.
Boy.
Marty Hart departs. He had left early and had a lot of trouble. Gordon was in the lead. He leaves early to the pits. And there was a little bit of a mishap with Wes Banks earlier in the race. Now some bumping as they come through turn number 6. The white flag out as Goshen crosses what will soon be the finishing line. Right on his tail is Steve Kula.
Well, the way things have gone tonight, kid, you don't ever talk about who's going to win this one if that checkered flag comes out. This thing's unbelievable. Look at the race for second and third. It is so close. And 4th place coming up in there. We've got the next 4. Second, third, and 4th. That is close. And look what happens here. We've got to change the lead up a little bit. Doesn't happen, though.
At the top of the turn, and now coming down to turn number 8 in the number 9 Super 1600. There is your winner.
Look at this. This was second and third battle. This was the second and third battle. They had problems. Now they've got them straightened back out. We still have a race going in for the number 2 spot. Who's it going to be? Who can get there? Who are they trying to give this thing away? No one will take it.
It appears that Steve Kukla has finished in second place, but the winner is Bill Goshen. Heat race number 2 of the Super 1600s. A man who saw misfortune in front of him and took advantage of it. Bill Goshen, our winner tonight in the, what a race, Bill.
Oh, it was fabulous. It was fabulous. I can't believe it. First time ever up on the podium. It's how sweet it is.
Yeah, I understand that. They were dropping like flies in front of you, Bill. What were you thinking when you see guys like Hart and Gordon go into the pit and you're not even halfway through the race?
Well, sometimes you don't even see them go, because if they take off and you're not right there, I really wasn't aware that they had pulled off the track. I just kept driving as hard as I could, and, it worked out. Worked out for the greatest.
Let's take a look at this pass where you take over the lead. The car in front of you got a little crossways, Bill, and it was all yours after that.
Well, you know what? I couldn't get around him for a second there, and you just got to pick your spot. You got to be patient and make sure that you go through smooth. And it worked out all right.
You did a great job tonight. We're really happy for you.
Okay, I appreciate it. I thank you, and I just want to thank my whole crew. Thank you, B.F. Goodrich, and praise the Lord.
In the Super 1600, our winner tonight was Kevin Smith. Now the Mickey Thompson Series moves to San Diego. And even though the rain has continued, 6 vehicle classes are ready to go racing tonight. Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing. It's next on ESPN. And And hello again, everybody, from Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego, California, where the rain continues to fall here. I don't know who wrote that song, It Never Rains in Southern California, but it must have been written sometime in September or October, because it's been raining nonstop, it seems like, since January.
Well, unfortunately for the Mickey Thompson Entertainment Group, this is the second event in a row, and only the second time in about 8 years that they've had rain. And the track is literally a quagmire. In one 24-hour period, 2 inches of rain fell in the San Diego area. Look at Jack Murphy Stadium layout here in San Diego for our race tonight. An interesting layout, to say the least. So as you come off the starting line, a quick left-hander that takes you down into your major decision for every lap, whether you take the A lane or the B lane. Now, the A lane has 3 180-degree turns. It's shorter, but those turns are going to slow you down. The B side, quicker exit points as you don't turn as often, but you've got a longer distance to travel. You rejoin at turn 5, actually heading towards each other, and then into the rhythm section. Down to turn 6, 180-degree right-hander, to a left-hand 180-degree at turn 7, up over the longest straightaway on the race course, down into a hard left-hander into turn 8 that sends you to the finish line, and 1 lap here at Jack Murphy Stadium.
In the Super 1600 heat race number 1 this evening, it was a pretty fair go of it for Jimmy Nichols, but Jerry Whelchel really did the best driving, I think.
Well, what was interesting, take a look at the number 1 of Jerry Whelchel at the right rear. This is a very lightweight chassis, and part of the chassis actually snapped where it comes into the control arm area of the rear axle assembly. And he managed to hold on to 3rd place, actually came back from 7th to get 3rd and hold on to it. But the man who would end up winning it is this one coming right at you now, jamming Jimmy Nichols in the number 10, holding off a determined Marty Coyne for the victory in heat race number 1.
We are set to go here, Super 1600 heat race number 2. The green flag is in the hand of the starter, and it is up and rolling, and we're racing. And quickly, it's Eric Harris in the number 14 Super 1600 who assumes the lead, but we have a bottleneck right at turn number 1.
And Troy Herbst and Ed Martinson got into it. Those two are sort of stalled in the middle of turn 1, not holding up the rest of the action, though.
Through the rhythm section in the red Super 1600, the number 14 belongs to Eric Harris, and he holds the lead ever so slightly over Bill Goshen, but it is Harris's lead as we come top of turn number 7 and down to the final turn of this first lap, turn number 8. 1 in the book, and it's Harris with the lead. Right on him is Goshen, and currently riding 3rd is Gary Gall.
And Gall's made the jump from 5th up to 3rd.
In 4th place is Wes Banks, but Harris continues to nurse the lead. There's Harris, number 14, and right on him is Bill Goshen. Now through the top of turn number 5, second lap, Harris with the lead, and right on his tail, as he has been since the start of this race, is Goshen. Gall trying to make up some ground. There, as you see, is Harris, the number 14 Super 1600. Gall still riding 3rd, but he seems to pick up a little ground. Now, as Harris hits the side barrier, Goshen, with the thought of perhaps taking the lead, but cannot. We've got stalled traffic down in turn number 1.
Yeah, that's still the Herbst vehicle. That's going to be there probably till the end of this race, or unless we get another full course yellow situation. You know, the thing we should point out, remember that these vehicles have turning brakes, which allow them to get through the corners a little bit quicker than the big brothers, the Grand National Sport trucks. If you push the lever one direction, it locks up one side of the wheels in the rear. Pull it the other direction, you lock up the opposite side. And what it allows you to do is power the car around, because these cars are so lightweight in the front end, even you, my good friend Ken Brew, could pick them up and carry them. All the weight's in the back end.
Right, and we'll be showing highlights of that later on in the show. Harris with the lead now with 5 laps to go. Goshen on his tail, and not too far behind that, Gall. As they come around that stalled traffic of Herbst, it appears that Goshen tries to, and does, bump at the top of turn 2 Harris, but Harris maintains the lead. Gall and Goshen bump in the fight for second place.
And this is the problem we're getting into now, Ken, is that we talked about it being a one-lane racetrack, and there's no place for these guys to be able to go take a pass, because if you get outside that one lane, you're out in the thick, loose mud, and you're just going to spin your wheel.
Harris maintaining the lead, coming through the top of turn 7 and now through turn number 8. 4 laps to go. Harris's legs start to this point in the race. Goshen in second and Gall in third. That has not changed. In 4th place in the number 21 Super 1600 is West Banks.
Oh, Harris gets hung up on the hydro barrier. Here's Gary Gall's big chance. He's gone from third to first.
Gall has the lead. Gall in the number 5 takes the lead, and in second place now is Goshen, as Harris is fallen back to third. And as they come around the turn, it looks like Goshen is going to hold on to second place.
Yeah, Goshen's taken over second place from everybody because he just got around West Banks and Kevin Smith. He wasn't fourth. Those two got hung up. He went to the outside. Big move. Here comes the checkered flag.
And that will be for our winner in this particular heat race, Gary Gall. It'll be Goshen who will finish second after the bump, and Kevin Smith will finish third. There's the winner, Gary Gall, heat race number 2 in the 1600s. Super 1600s and a super night for Gary Gall.
If you like nutty, you'll love nutty. Milk chocolate peanutty. A nutty bar for nutty times. This a good bar.
Gary, congratulations on a fine heat win. The secret was the big pass when both Eric Harris and Bill Goshen got tangled up.
Yeah, they got a little tangled there, and I was on the street tire, so I was a little scared to go around them, but I went for it, and it paid off.
Take a look at the monitor and take us through it and give us your view.
Well, I was right behind them right here, and I see him climb up on top of him, and I go, this is my chance. I go a little wide.
And there you are.
And then I done it.
Yeah, you certainly did. Great job. We'll see you in the main event. Congratulations.
Well, I hope to be back to visit you.
Okay.
Thank you.
In the Super 1600, in his first outing of 93, Marty Coyne with the win.
When the sun is out, it is one of the most beautiful cities in the world. The sun's out today. It's located next to the Puget Sound and right in the heart of the Pacific Northwest. Seattle, Washington is also the site of stop number 3 on the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Chamberlain. Say hi to my partner, Ralph Shaheen. We're glad you could be with us on ESPN. Ralph, a couple of developing stories here. This is really the first time that these racers and drivers will get the chance to really put the pedal to the metal and see what their machines are made of, because in Anaheim and San Diego, sloppy, wet, muddy courses, they couldn't let it go. But tonight, we're indoors, everything goes.
That's exactly right, Mike.
Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing, Phoenix Sun Devil Stadium, Saturday night, May 1st. Tickets at Dillard's or ASU box office.
We'll do a highlight or two from the Super 1600 heat race number 1. It really came down to Gary Gall. He'll be in number 5, and Jerry Whelchel wearing the number 1 plate.
Jerry Whelchel made a statement that he is the best driver in this field, and in order to prove that, you got to win. And he chased him all the way around, kept challenging. Here was the last lap. They came face-to-face one last time, and you can see Whelchel was just a little bit behind, but look at how that car accelerates enough. He gets the lead right where he needed it on the last corner. Checkered flag was waiting, and Jerry Whelchel backed up his statement.
You got a spare $60,000 laying around wanting to get into racing. You might want to think about the Super 1600s. This is the main event. They've qualified to get here, and we got an interesting story on row number 2, and Jerry Whelchel. There he is with the number 1 plate.
Well, there was never a rule as to how wide you can make the rear end of one of these things. Jerry Whelchel's car was 94 5/8 inches wide. All the rest of the machines were 84 inches wide. Whelchel, you see the number 1, he won the title last year. Everybody said, hey, that's got to be the way to go. Well, the Mickey Thompson folks said, well, let's just average it out. So they came to Seattle and they said all the cars have to be 87 inches wide. But Jerry Whelchel outfought the rules makers. All he did was change his offset. He didn't have to hack up any of that fast chassis of his.
All right, that is Sherry Stansberry, the man that designed and put this course together. All they did was bring in 1 million pounds of dirt. We called it a little chunk of Baja. Super 1600's ready to go. Up in the left-hand corner, Gary Scheimer. He says, gentlemen, not only start your engines, but race them. And we are off and at it.
And a good run down the backstretch as Whelchel tucks to the inside, but you see your leader, Bill Goshen, went the long way around, and he's having some troubles. He's going to lose the lead position to Jimmy Nichols. And Jimmy Nichols is going to lose it to the number 5 machine. That is Gary Gall.
We have a traffic jam right in the middle of the rhythm section. But Gary Gall, who did very well in an earlier heat race, is the man on the point. He's going to lead all 13 cars around the Kingdome in the main event.
The left front wheel of the Goshen machine has been knocked askew as we see Jerry Whelchel now closing in on Gary Gall. Here they come side by side facing each other at turn number 3. Gall's going to hang on for now.
I tell you, I love this course configuration that they have built for the 93 series, and it is so much fun to watch. Gary Gall in the lead right now out of Fontana, 40 years of age, being chased down by Jerry Whelchel from Mission Viejo, California. 2 Southern California racers doing a battle of it here in Seattle tonight.
Well,
look at that.
We mentioned earlier how Whelchel has not won a main event yet in 1993, and he desperately wants to do that. He's been making statements all year long that it doesn't matter what they do with the rules, he thinks he's the best driver in the series. He's trying to prove that point here tonight.
Talk about a guy that knows about winning career main events. He has won, Jerry Whelchel we're talking about, 15 career main events in his racing career. Darn near took it away from Gary right there. They climb up, they piggyback, they are fighting it out. This is a good old-fashioned drag race right now down the center of the course.
And right now, both drivers are going the same direction. They're not opting to choose different lanes. They're following the same direction. And now Goshen is going to get in the way there. He's going to cause a problem for Jerry Whelchel. I told you Goshen's front wheel is off. He's having trouble steering that machine. And that is going to be all the difference in the world for your leader.
Oh, no! Number 9 bashes into Whelchel right there. That was Bill Goshen. Did you see that?
He sure did. And poor Jerry Whelchel just can't get around Goshen and get rid of him. And that is allowing Gary Gall just to pull away.
Unbelievable. So Gary Gall working that old rhythm section to death.
Boy, Gall is just having an easy time of it now up front. And I bet Jerry Whelchel is going to just force his way around Goshen here in a little bit. There you see the number 21 machine. That belongs to Wes Banks. Banks is in second place now. With everything that has happened to Jerry Whelchel, Banks has taken over second.
Wes Banks currently is the thing that is separating Whelchel from Gary Gall right now. 6 laps to go.
Yeah, here's Gall. You can see him coming right at you. They're coming up the front straightaway. There's Whelchel. Whelchel, by the way, is going to start mass producing these chassis. If anybody is interested out there in buying one, contact Jerry Whelchel. He's looking to sell these to the regular public. He's going to go to the outside, and Banks went to the A lane. Let's see, that might be just the thing that Jerry Whelchel needs to close up that gap between himself and second place Wes Banks. They'll come at each other as we look back up to our leader who comes to the start-finish line one more time. And Whelchel has made up some ground, but not enough to really challenge. So right now, it's still all Gary Gall.
Yeah, Gary Gall in the number 5, Super 1600. His idol is Richard Petty, and he happens to own a repair shop. So if he has any problems here tonight, he backs up, goes home, just fixes it all in his own shop.
And remember, these drivers have the turning brakes as well, where you have to turn it, push it one way to turn the car in one direction and pull it the other way to lock up the other wheel to turn the machine to the other direction. So there's a lot of activity going on inside those cockpits.
Yeah, they work for these victories. There's no question about it. They have to clutch, they have to brake, everything else. Now they're still watching out for all the other guys.
Well, with Gall all by himself out front, there is a split for the 2 drivers who are battling for second now. So Whelchel is still doing the best he can.
Jerry Whelchel. Oh, what an unbelievable move that was. Wes Banks and Jerry Whelchel hook up. Whelchel getting the bad end of that deal. There's number 21 Banks.
Boy, poor Jerry Whelchel this night for him has gone from bad to worse. Well, here you see him as they come down the front straightaway. Jerry Whelchel in the number 1, Wes Banks in the number 21 coming up the front straightaway. Watch the number 1 machine. He goes right up and over the front wheels, the right side wheels of Banks' machine to the side. That left front wheel curves under. Jerry Whelchel ends up on his lid.
Okay, we're down to the final lap and a half here. You're watching the Super Super 1600s, the buggies of off-road racing. 1,650 rear-mounted CC engines in these things.
And our second-place competitor, Wes Banks, just tips it over.
He is following in the footsteps of Jerry Whelchel. He's on his lid. He is watching this race upside down.
Yeah, there's the checkered flag at the start-finish line, and the win will be credited to Gary Gall.
Now the Stadium Off-Road Series comes here to the Valley of the Sun, Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe, Arizona, where dry conditions will let drivers, tires, and engines air it out as we present round 4 of Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing. It's next on ESPN. We are out in the desert tonight in the greater Phoenix area, and that includes Tempe, Arizona, the home of Arizona State University. It is hot, it is dry, and that ought to make for a fast track here at Sun Devil Stadium tonight. And hello again, everybody, along with Marty Reed, Ken Bruce speaking to you. And Marty, here we are at the 4th event this year on the Mickey Thompson circuit. We have not had one repeat winner.
Coming off the starting line, you'll notice we take a hard left 90-degree turn into the A and B lane choice. B lane has been quicker through practice and qualifying. It's a longer version as far as the outside goes, but seems to be quicker because as you go through the A lane, you've got a 180-degree end down at turn 3A, and that seems to be hanging some people up. You empty back in at turn 4A and B, and that puts you right into the rhythm section. And look out for that second jump on the back end of that because it has been high centering several vehicles through practice and qualifying. Turn 5 is a big 180-degree sweeper to the left, which brings you back over the finish line jump. And that's one tour here in Tempe, Arizona at Sun Devil Stadium.
Well, a trip around this track is anything but easy on the Hart. If anything should happen, there's a heart surgeon standing by who's also one of the competitors. Let's go trackside to Ralph Shaheen.
The average workday for a heart surgeon is always filled with pressure. The patient's life is on the line, and it's up to the doctor to save it. That's why so many doctors take up the quiet and relaxing game of golf. That, however, is not the case with Dwight Lundell. His choice for winding down is a Super 1600 and racing in the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Series, his favorite form of motorsport.
Well, the Mickey Thompson Series required a little less of my time. I'm really busy with my work. Didn't require the pre-running days and is run very professionally, and I felt was a little more technical, not as endurance related, but a little more technical and demanding and more exciting.
Dwight says the noise of the motor and the aggressive competition help him to forget about work. His associates in the medical industry who prefer the game of golf for their relaxation think racing is crazy. Dwight, however, has his own feelings about golf.
Golf is an old person's game, and when I get older, I'll play golf with them.
Well, they're lining them up right now for the main event of the Super 1600. Taking a look inside the engine of Marty Hart, and he had a fair heat number 2. He won it. We'll see if it translates over here to the big show in the 1600s.
And there is Jammin' Jimmy Nichols. He's on the front row. He finished second in the heat race that he was in. Alongside him, Wes Banks, and in the inverted positions, the winners of those 2 heat races, Marty Hart and Jerry Whelchel, will start in row number 2. That's Whelchel with the number 1, Hart with the number 3.
Will it be lane A or lane B? We'll see where they elect to go as we get ready to rumble here in the main event of the Super 1600s. Jimmy Nichols electing to go south, and we'll see if that translates over into a lead for him at the top of turn 4. This has been the faster of the 2 lanes tonight.
Gary Gall at the top of the screen, Jimmy Nichols and Jerry Whelchel at the bottom. Who's going to take the lead?
It's Nichols, but only by a hair over Gall. Now through the top of turn 5, and 1 lap will be in the book here of the main event in the Super 1600s. It's Nichols and Gall. We've got another stalled vehicle at the top of the rhythm section, at the top of turn number 4.
And that's Marty Hart, our heat race winner. He's just getting refired, but he's well back in the pack. No chance of winning the main event tonight.
Meantime, Nichols continues to hold the lead as we're in the middle of turn and lap number 2. Gall second, Whelchel third. Now Whelchel comes up to take second.
Jimmy Nichols and Jerry Whelchel. They saw Marty Hart with a flat left rear tire blocking the A lane, so they went B. And it's going to be interesting because now Gary Gall finds himself losing ground because he got slowed down. There's first and second, Nichols and Whelchel, and Gary Gall well back now in third place. And he's just coming into your shot right there.
Nichols, the number 10. Whelchel, the number 1. And it appears as though it is not everyone choosing that top lane. There's some that are still electing to go south.
Boy, I don't know why Jerry Whelchel this time decided to go A lane because Marty Hart is still blocking it. And I think Gary Gall is going to end up with a huge lead here. He is.
Now Gall, the number 5, in the middle of some traffic. And now Nichols over the start-finish line.
And there is lap traffic between he and second place, Jerry Whelchel. He gets around the lap traffic, Tim Herbst, but he has got a long way to go to close the gap. There's the margin with Jimmy Nichols out in front.
Nichols coming up to the top of turn number 4. There he is. There's our leader, getting set to come down the rhythm section. And that's where he is right now. Jimmy Nichols, Jerry Whelchel behind him, trying to ease by some lap traffic, and he does. And yet another lap is in the book here in the Super 16. Main event, stalled vehicle, Gus Banks down at the start-finish line. He apparently done for the night.
I'm still dumbfounded that Jerry Whelchel is continuing to take that A lane with that stalled vehicle of Marty Hart there, and wide open territory for Jimmy Nichols as he comes around and will keep the lead.
Yes, he will. Well, perhaps Whelchel is confident enough in his driving ability and whatever change they made on his tires in that heat race that he won't fishtail as much and have better traction through the turn. We'll see.
He's closed the gap, but Jimmy Nichols, it's going to be interesting. Now
it's Nichols that goes down low, and look who starts just as he comes through.
Marty Hart moves out of the way, so he doesn't have the same jockeying maneuver. So Jimmy Nichols now has the chance to take the lead or hold the lead because now there's 2 lap vehicles in front of Jerry Whelchel. And Whelchel gets hung up on the hydro barrier.
But he's off it now and through the rhythm section, but loses perhaps some valuable time to Jimmy Nichols. Interesting that it was Hart who elected to move just as Nichols comes up on him, but he didn't move when Whelchel was there.
He just got out of the way in time. Now they're going to go through together. Nichols in front of Jerry Whelchel.
Whelchel in the 1, Nichols in the 10, Nichols with the lead. Nichols has held the lead since the start of this race. Whelchel very tight through the turns now.
Now remember when we showed you the highlights from the heat race and all the fishtailing action? Notice how well and how clean, how much side bite all these vehicles are getting. Everybody went back, regrouped the tires, changed the combination. Look at how much better all these cars are performing. White flag.
1 lap to go for Nichols and for Whelchel, who has taken the lead. And Whelchel comes low and Nichols goes high. And we'll see if Whelchel can use this to his advantage.
Jerry Whelchel's going to come out with the lead big time because there's 2 lap vehicles in front of Jimmy Nichols.
So Whelchel's decision at the final pass of turn number 1 may indeed translate to a win. It appears it will. Nichols trapped behind lap traffic. Whelchel at turn 5, turning down the stretch over the line, has the checkered flag. He will finish first and will win the main event tonight in the Super 1600s. That man has to wonder where luck went. It certainly didn't go his way. Jerry Whelchel, the winner of the main event in the Super 1600. He won his heat, and he wins the main.
Let's go back to the moment in the race when Jerry Whelchel takes the inside line away from Jimmy Nichols, forces him to the outside, which is the B lane choice with 2 lap vehicles in front of him. Jerry had clean space in front of him, and it translated into about a 6-car length victory at the other end as he wins the main event, our 4th different main event winner in Super 1600 competition this year.
And to update the Dr. Dwight Lundell story, he finished 11th in the Super 1600 main event. He was a racing legend. Mickey Thompson was, among many things, one of the great desert racers. He knew that if he could bring desert racing to a place where more people could watch, that stadium racing would be very popular. Well, it is. We're in the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. It's round 5 of this series, and we invite you to be part of Mickey Thompson's dream. It's all next on ESPN. It has been a gorgeous afternoon here in Southern California. Temperatures in the 80s. In fact, you couldn't ask for better weather for racing. And it ought to be a heck of a night here at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California tonight. Hello again, everybody. Along with Marty Reed, Ken Bruce speaking to you. And
around the layout here at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, the starting line will be on the backstretch, and turn 1's a left-hander, 90 degrees. Actually, a big sweeper, which connects to turn 2. That brings you through what will end up being the finish line, a double jump, down into turn 3. That's a 180-degree left-hander. Through a series of rhythm jumps, you get out of sync, you're in some big trouble, to turn number 4. That's 180 degrees to the right. Again, another series of rhythm jumps, and then back to one more left-hander, turn 5, 180 degrees to the left. That takes you back to the backstretch one more time through one big jump, and this is a fast course. Lap times under 29 seconds.
And welcome back to racing here at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. We are all set for the Super 1600 heat race number 1. And since we're talking about number 1, we'll talk about Kevin Smith and his Mirage, who is right next to number 1, Jerry Whelchel. Not a bad 1-2 punch to follow.
Yeah, they were the fast qualifiers out of this division, so they'll be starting in row number 2. In front, Marty Hart and Jimmy Nichols.
And quickly it is Hart in that number 3, who is zoomed to the lead. Right behind him is Jimmy Nichols in the number 10. Hart out of Louisiana, now trying to pad that distance, but quickly up to challenge as they go through turn number 4 is Jimmy Nichols.
Third place is Jerry Whelchel, Kevin Smith in 4th.
Right now it's Hart that's got it dialed in pretty well. Marty Hart's had a tough go of it so far. Back down at the top of turn number 4, we've got a problem. Matter of fact, Will Goshen's got a real problem. He's up on top of another Super 1600.
Yeah, you're going to see right there is Bob Gordon, and that's Bill Goshen in the number 9.
They have piggybacked on each other. Now they seem to come apart. No caution yet, and the race continues with Hart in the number 3. Out in front, there he is, driving the Chenoweth out of Louisiana. Marty Hart has the lead by a good 7 car lengths. Nichols second, Jerry Whelchel third.
Yeah, the real battle right there. Whelchel trying to put the inside move on to kind of make it stick. Now remember, this is a 180-degree right-hander. Look out, they're getting sideways.
And they have to navigate around that stalled Super 1600. Whelchel still third and Nichols second. Nichols in the 10, Whelchel in the 1, and Whelchel tries the inside but cannot wrestle that second position away. Nichols doing a good job cutting him off on the inside. Meanwhile, up front, it is still Marty Hart's race. Another problem at the top of turn number 4, as there's more traffic that has to be navigated around. Here comes Hart around that. Goshen is stalled there.
Oh, Kevin Smith puts a nice move inside of Jerry Whelchel. Here comes Whelchel trying to take the position back. That's for 3rd and 4th place.
Meanwhile, one of the Super 1600s on its side is righted now. So all on the track and running, with the exception of that number 9 or number 6 of Bob Gordon. Whelchel in the number 1, battling for 2nd place with Nichols, but it's still Marty Hart who has the lead. There's Nichols in the 10 and Hart in the 1, Whelchel in the 1. Meanwhile, up in front of everyone is Marty Hart. They've been dueling all race in this heat race, Nichols and Whelchel has, and Whelchel just can't seem to wrestle that lead away.
Well, he had a problem for a while with Kevin Smith, but he's gotten rid of Kevin, and Kevin's dropped back, and there is the battle going on. See, he gets that inside line, but boy, the acceleration down this straight, oh, they tangle. They're tied up into each other.
Locking up, Whelchel is actually up on top of Nichols, drives over the micro barrier and flips. And now it's Whelchel who's out of the race.
And in all of this, Kevin Smith is the one who benefits. He moves into 2nd place. Nichols is 3rd. And with that fuel dumping out, there's going to be a full course yellow.
There sure is. There's no question about that.
And there's flames flickering under there. Let's go, fellas.
You can see the flames actually flickering there, and there is fuel on the track. and now that fuel is on fire, and they scramble out to try and put it out, and that's exactly what's happening. Good work there by the trackside crew. The yellow caution flag is out, and so thankfully is Jerry Whelchel.
Let's go back and show you exactly what happens with Jerry Whelchel. That's Jimmy Nichols on the inside. Now, Whelchel gets into Nichols. Nichols gets on the horsepower right here. Now, Jerry gets up and over, and then that hydro barrier catches the right rear wheel, and he goes up and over onto his lid, and then all of a sudden the fuel comes out, and that's when the fire started.
So the restart here in the Super 1600 heat race number 1, and they put Jimmy Nichols all the way at the back of the pack.
Yeah, and Jerry Whelchel gets to go to second position. I don't know if I agree with this one. It's very rare that we get into discussions about the rough driving committee, but I thought both racers were just going after the position, and it was a racing accident.
So they, in essence, blamed Nichols for the incident.
That's right. And he penalized all the way back to the back, and Jerry Whelchel, who ended up on his lid, is in the second position. I'm sure Jerry's very happy with it. I guarantee you Jimmy Nichols is just livid.
Marty Hart has the lead. Checker flag out. Marty Hart wins it. Whelchel second. And in third is Kevin Smith. And Nichols will finish last. Marty Hart wins it. Heat race number 1 of the Super 1600 tonight.
I love mornings after my dad would race. I'd get up before anyone else, sneak out to the garage, and inspect every inch of his old Chevy. Just by looking, I could tell how well he did the night before. Yeah, I got my first taste of racing and my first taste of Sundrop right here.
Sundrop, the taste you go wild for, and a favorite in the Earnhardt garage for over 40 years.
Some things just kind of run in the family.
Sundrop Citrus Soft Drink.
Marty Coyne, he may want to expand his racing after tonight, the winner of the Super 1600s.
And good evening again, everybody. We're nestled in between the mountaintops tonight here in Salt Lake City, along with Marty Reed. Ken Bruce speaking to you.
Super 1600 heat race number 1. And Marty Reed, Jimmy Nichols did not have a good go of it in Pasadena. He was 17th in the main, yet today in qualifying he does extremely well, as does the man in that particular Super 1600, Marty Hart.
Well, yeah, Jimmy's in row number 2. With the inverted order, the first and third qualifiers in this heat, Jerry Whelchel and Jimmy Nichols, they were the 2 fastest. They line up in row number 2, right behind Corey Witherell and Marty Hart. Now the second and fourth fastest qualifiers will be in the heat race number 2.
We wait for the green flag, which should drop momentarily. Jerry Whelchel in the number 1, second in the main at Pasadena, won his heat at Pasadena, and seemed to have a pretty fair run of it in the main, but he drove over Jimmy Nichols and flipped out, and that was the name of that tune for the man who has ruled this classification for the last few years, and some bumping off the start. But it's Hart who takes the lead momentarily down through that backstretch and over those series of jumps.
Remember, we talked about tires being critical. They just did some course maintenance here and put a lot of water down because the course had been drying out. Now, these guys might be on the wrong tires. We're going to find out real soon.
Right now, it's Jimmy Nichols with the lead. At Phoenix, he was second in the main before his problems in Pasadena. And he seems to have picked up where he left off at Phoenix and erases the memory so far of Pasadena.
I can tell you, you watch Jerry Whelchel, and I guarantee you he's not happy with the tire combination that he selected or the groove that he put into this car. He's getting a lot of wheel spin and a lot of side slippage as he goes through these corners. Meanwhile, Jimmy Nichols at the front, watch him come through this corner. He guessed correctly at how much water they would put down, and he is the leader because of it.
There's Nichols in the lead out of Alpine, California. The vehicle at Chenoweth. Super 1600s. Here they come down the straightaway and through that series of jumps. Very long straight chute.
Oh, and all of a sudden Marty Hart has stalled and pulled to the side of the road. Jerry Whelchel will take over second place.
Now Whelchel battling that setup that Marty Reed told you about earlier in this race, and we'll see if Whelchel has figured it out to make a run at Nichols in this heat race. Not a happy man there. That is Marty Hart. But right now it is battled down to Jimmy Nichols out of Alpine and Jerry Whelchel out of Mission Viejo.
I got to tell you, if I'm Jimmy Nichols and I know Jerry Whelchel is back there, I'm not a happy camper, because Whelchel takes no prisoners, and he knows it. And he also knows that Jerry's tire combination is starting to finally come in, and here comes lap traffic into play.
Right, that is Steve Kukla, who is lap traffic, and at this point playing havoc with the lead of Jimmy Nichols. And it brings Whelchel right up on Nichols' bumper.
And 1 lap to go. There's the white flag.
It's out. Nichols maintains the lead despite the lap traffic. Whelchel opts for the inside, trying to make a move, but he is forced back a bit by lap traffic, by the stalled Super 1600.
Now, Jimmy Nichols has to hug this corner. He has to force Jerry Whelchel to the outside of every single turn to win this race.
2 more turns to go for Nichols as he's through the rhythm section and navigating up to the top of turn number 3. Whelchel tries to get him outside. Nichols forces him outside as their wheels hit, but it's Nichols who maintains the lead. Down through the rhythm section, up to the top of turn number 4.
Oh, there's the opening.
Up on his wheels, Whelchel and Nichols side by side, and we'll see. It appears that Nichols has won, but we'll wait. They appeared to cross the finish line side by side.
We'll have to wait. This is the first time a photo finish will be used to determine the winner in all the years that we've been televising the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Series. Let's take a look at the last lap. Contact coming through there. Whelchel's on the inside. Nichols liked that outside line through the fast sweeping turn number 1. Now remember, we talked about that Jimmy Nichols had to cut these corners to the inside, force Whelchel outside of him. He does a good job there, and then after that little bobble, here is the finish. As Whelchel had his last chance, he took a shot, but just by the width of a bumper, it is Jimmy Nichols the winner.
For many years, the competitors in the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series would primarily focus all of their efforts on running in a single-car class. However, in recent years, several of the competitors have tried their hands at racing in multiple classes on a single evening. Tonight, one of the most talented performers in the history of the Mickey Thompson Series will attempt to go for 2 main event victories. 32-year-old Jerry Whelchel will attempt to pilot this Ford Explorer to victory in the Sport Utility class, and he will also try to go to victory lane in this Super 1600 vehicle.
Well, I think the biggest difference in the 2 cars is one's an open wheel car, one's a closed wheel car. In other words, in the 10 car or the Super 1600, I can always see the front wheels and watch where they're at, and I know how close I can get to cars. Where with the Sport Utility car, it's more banging fenders, and it gets a little bit tougher out there in that car. It's a little bit heavier car, so it's a little bit tougher to drive.
Physically, is it difficult driving 2 cars in a single evening?
Yeah, it'll be a little bit tougher than 1 car because there's only 1 race between the 2 cars. So jumping from car to car will get a little bit tiring. The races are sort of short. They're only about 8 laps long, but it's a full pump the whole time you're out there. So I'm expecting a lot of action tonight.
Okay, if you thought that was good, here's heat race number 2 in the Super 1600s tonight. All kinds of people are watching this one. How about Gary Gall in his Chenoweth out of Montana, currently riding in the points, number 2.
Oh, and Gall's up and over.
And he's on his hood and he flips, and we have got, I'm sure, a full course yellow on this. Look at that. Unbelievable. Number 5, Gary Gall, has brought out the full course yellow.
Let's go back to the start. We can see exactly what happens to Gary Gall. Now, remember, he was the second quickest qualifier coming into tonight's action. Now, he gets up on the bicycle, and then watch here, he'll get nudged right there by the number 17 of Ed Herbst. That's enough to send him all the way over. Otherwise, I think he might have been able to save it.
Ed Herbst out of the race. Gary Gall sent to the back of the class, and we'll have a restart here in this heat race for the Super 1600s.
And that means a big opportunity for Aaron Hawley and Kevin Smith. They are all alone right there on the right side of your screen. Smith diving to the inside.
Here we go through turn number 1. Smith tries the inside, and Smith has wrestled the lead from South El Monte, California, in a Mirage. That's Kevin Smith with the lead. He's got company, though. Aaron Hawley is right on him, but it's Smith who's taken advantage of this restart. And Bill Goshen is now currently running 3rd and right up on the tail of Aaron Hawley.
Well, Hawley's car fell out of gear, and that slowed him down just long enough for Goshen to climb right up on his back, and it really hurt Goshen because he lost the position. Well, he's 4th. The left rear on Kevin Smith's car is going down. He has got a flat.
He continues to drive, continues to have the lead, but you can see the left rear tire of Kevin Smith has gone flat. This could benefit Aaron Hawley. But Smith continues to drive like he's got a full set.
Now, we can tell you Gary Gall has moved up to 4th. He's closing in on Bill Goshen. This could get real interesting. In fact, Gall is making a run at Goshen.
Gary Gall has leaped momentarily into 3rd, and now we've got a pileup at the top of turn 3. It only benefits Smith, who continues to drive.
And Gary Gall, who fires around. Now, Gall is going to really go after it.
But Smith holds him off for one more lap.
Kevin did a great job. He didn't give Gary enough room to either side to go for that double jump.
Now, perhaps that Bill Goshen stalled Super 1600 could be a factor on this next go-round. He is at the top of turn number 3. Sparks flying out the back of Kevin Smith. Now we look for Gall to make his move. Gall comes inside and now wrestles the lead from Kevin Smith. There's the move by Gary Gall. Hits his nose and flips, and Smith finds new life.
Gall takes the lead after coming back from dead last and then ends up on his lid, and this will have to bring out the full car caution, but no, they're going to let it go because there's only one lap left and only 3 vehicles still running.
Aaron Hawley now takes over 2nd, but a distant 2nd. And what a story this is for that man. For Kevin Smith, who took the flat about 4 laps ago, continued to drive, continued to tempt fate, saw the lead leave, and then get it back when Gary Gall went nose first into the turf and fell on his head. Smith navigates around Gall and now comes down through the rhythm section. The crowd on its feet cheering for Kevin Smith, who has done a superb job driving in this heat race. He sees the checker flag, and on 3 wheels, struggling, a tire shredded, Kevin Smith takes the checker flag, and the tire shreds at the finish line.
It just landed. The tire went about 35 feet straight up into the air, almost hit our starter, Gary Scheimer, on the way down.
Folks, don't try this at home, but love it if you watch it with Kevin Smith. In the Super 1600, Kevin Smith, the people's choice.
Congratulations. Let's take a quick tour of the Sam Boyd Silver Bowl. The one unique characteristic about this track is it is extremely tight. It's a benefit for the fan because they're right on top of the action. Coming off the starting line, turn 1 is a sweeper to the left. 180 degrees, put you on the back stretch, and boy, you can fly down there. Then hard on the brakes for turn 2. Another 180-degree left-hander takes you over a set of 2 jumps and then into a rhythm section for turn number 3, the only right-hand turn on the course. Again, 180 degrees. Then a couple more jumps, another set of rhythms, and then down into turn 4, the final turn as you make that left-hander and head for the finish line. And that's 1 lap at the Silver Bowl.
Time for the Super 1600s. And this will be heat race number 1. And let's take a look at some of the point standings here for these guys, Marty, because this has turned into a pretty fair race, particularly after you get by Jerry Whelchel.
Well, Jimmy Nichols and Kevin Smith separated by all of 5 points, and then Gary Gall with 169. Those guys are fighting it out for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And if Whelchel would fall into some misfortune and DNF, not finish a couple of heats and mains, he would fall right back into the clutches of those 3.
We'll watch number 1, Whelchel, who'll start from the front of this race, side by side with a guy that has put a little distance between here and there from Louisiana, Columbia, Louisiana, Marty Hart. Hart and Whelchel up front to start this, and Whelchel already goofy through turn number 1, but back on all 4s and racing again.
Well, he got hooked on that 1 jump, and boy, he almost went all the way over, caught it nicely. He's dunking underneath, trying to regain the lead, but he's going to be fighting for 3rd.
Hart, though, has taken the lead and has raced to about 2 Super 1600 length over Kevin Smith. Hart currently riding 6th in the point standings and picking up 15 in Salt Lake City just a couple of weeks ago in our last event. We've got Steve Kukla stalled out.
at turn number 3, trying to get back into it, and finally does. But it's still Marty Hart who has the lead by a hair now over Kevin Smith and Jerry Whelchel in third. And here comes Ed Herbst up, challenging Whelchel for that third spot.
Yeah, things are getting interesting here as we got a battle for second. Looks like the leader is also slowing down a little bit. I'm checking to see if there's something wrong with Marty Hart's car. It looked like he slowed down, and boy, he has got Kevin Smith all over him, and Smith trying to look to the inside through one.
Well, our old pal Mitch Mustard, who used to drive in this event, and with great success in the rough driving booth tonight, Marty.
Yeah, the former champion Mitch Mustard taking over the rough driving chores, and so far a clean heat race, so no problems for him to have to decide along with his compatriots. Right now, biggest challenge is Kevin Smith on Marty Hart. Hart stalls, and you got a new leader.
You sure do. It's Kevin Smith, and now it's Whelchel who will challenge Smith for the lead. Whelchel tries inside and bumps, but Smith, none the worse for wear, maintains the lead. And this is good news for Herbst, who now zooms into third place. Kevin Smith in the lead and holding off Whelchel, it seems like, rather successfully. Oh, it's Herbst! Oh, what a spin by Herbst, who winds up on his head. And Herbst has wound up on the top of his Super 1600, and that brings out the yellow again.
And boy, that is one of the highest endos we have seen, and we'll not speculate on anything regarding condition. Hopefully everything is okay with Ed Herbst, the Las Vegas resident, as they get him rolled back over.
Checking on Eddie
Take
to see
a look.
if he's okay.
Left side of your screen. Goshen and Ed Herbst come together right here. They touch wheels. And bingo, look what happens to Herbst. He noses it, and look how high he bounces into the air and comes down right on his lid.
Well, there's definitely some vehicular carnage on the track here as we count 3 Super 1600s that are out of this race, and only 4 remain.
And Marty Hart stalled again. He's having a tough time keeping fire. He's missing in a cylinder, so we really only got 3 taking a white flag. 1 lap to go.
3 will dash for the finish. Kevin Smith with Whelchel on him and Bill Goshen just behind him. Kevin Smith, who had a strong showing in Salt Lake City, now looking to parlay that with a win here in this first heat race of the Super 1600s tonight. Whelchel will have 2 more turns in which to maneuver, but it appears that Smith is going to win this, the first heat race of tonight. Smith navigating through turn number 4, checker flag is out, and Kevin Smith out of South El Monte, California, will take it in his Mirage. Jerry Whelchel in his Toyota second, and Bill Goshen third. The winner in heat race number 1 tonight, Kevin Smith.
ESPN, the world leader in motorsports coverage, welcomes you to Denver's Mile High Stadium, where the temperature is a very brisk 36 degrees at the home of the Denver Broncos and Colorado Rockies. But tonight, it's Conoco's Rumble in the Rockies, as it's round number 8 of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series. Hello again, everyone. I'm Marty Reed.
Let's take a quick lap around the Mile High circuit. The first thing you'll notice about the track here at Denver is that it's all one lane. No split lanes here in the Mile High circuit. Once underway, you go through a quick washboard section and the first of 2 right-hand corners. This one just a sweeper. Over a big jump and down to turn number 2. This leads you into the fastest section of the racetrack. As you go over the 2 main jumps to the end of the main straightaway, you will approach speeds of 65 miles an hour. Through turn 3 in a rhythm section. Down to turn 4, another left-hander, and a variation of that very same rhythm section. When you come to turn 5, it is the only other right-hander. As you exit turn 5, it's over 1 more section of the rhythm jumps down to turn 6. The final hairpin would send you back over 2 jumps and a lap here at Mile High Stadium.
We're going to call it Super 1600 Heat number 2 action right at this moment, as an old friend has returned from a retirement to come out and join us in his home neighborhood. He's from Arvada, nearby here in Denver. On the front row, the number 4, the yellow car there, Mitch Mustard.
And he might call it Mitch's place by the time this event is over. He's a guy who really knows how to dial in a motor for this high-altitude racing up here in the state of Colorado. And Mitch could just be the guy to beat here tonight, Marty.
Green flag drops. It's great to see Mitch back behind the wheel, and immediately he picks up right where he left off. He's going to take the lead heading through the second corner.
Down the fast front straightaway to turn number 3. Everybody single file through there. One of the smoothest starts we've had all night. Everybody pretty much just sorting themselves out right now.
Gary Gall in second place, and then, whoa, there was a car getting sideways. Marty Hart is in third. But right now, Mitch Mustard holding on to the lead. Doesn't look like he's missed a beat in this 1 year of retirement.
Not at all. And on a tricky, demanding racetrack, we say it's a very fast circuit, but let's remind you, ladies and gentlemen, it's a very technical track. As we pointed out to you earlier, the way they have the corners set up, if you don't hit the corner right, you can very easily end up into the hydro barriers.
Well, what's impressed me is that despite all the time that he has not been racing and coming out to a high-speed circuit, you notice he's not making any mistakes. Got a pass for second place. That's Marty Hart going underneath Gary Gall. Hart takes over second.
And you're right, Marty. He is extremely smooth here tonight. And it is a very difficult thing to do in these machines, especially with the turning brakes.
Oh, I think it's difficult no matter what form of racing you're in. If you're not getting stick time, wheel time, whatever, you just aren't getting enough practice to stay as proficient as you need to be. Down into turn number 3. Again, it's nose-to-tail action. Marty Hart obviously trying to force Mitch into a mistake. He's probably thinking, hey, look, uh-oh, he's got a shot down the inside. Can he make it stick? On the outside, look at Mitch Mustard. He doesn't give up an inch. He holds the outside line and maintains the lead.
There was quite a bit of contact in that corner, and neither driver gave an inch, and Mitch really hung on tight and did what he had to do.
I'm going to tell you, that's a turning point in the race right there. If Marty Hart makes that pass, it breaks Mitch Mustard's back, but Mitch holds on and does a spectacular job in the process. I don't think Hart has anything left to show him.
Not at this point, because he had challenged him from every side he possibly could, except for something like that. The mistake that we thought he wouldn't make, he did, and it opened the door. He has broken the machine. He came down real, oh, and look at this. Just as he gets out in front, Gary Gall makes a mistake. Now, can Mitch Mustard win this thing with a broken machine?
Well, yeah, it looks like the control arm has snapped on the right front wheel. He's still able, remember, all the weight is in the rear of these things, so as long as he can maintain forward momentum, he's going to plow his way on through. But everybody else is starting to close because obviously you've got a lot of drag. So the steering definitely affects it. In fact, Gary Gall is coming up right behind Mitch Mustard. What a shame. Mitch pulls over. He knows he cannot maintain the battle. So it is now Gary Gall first, Marty Hart second, and then the number 8 of Kevin Smith third. In fact, Kevin Smith now moves into second place.
And the number 3 of Marty Hart has another problem and slips back from second to third now.
So Mitch Mustard still maintaining fourth at this moment, but there's just too many laps to go. He's probably going to lose that position as well to Wes Banks in the number 21. But let's talk a little bit about Gary Gall. Finished 5th in the points last year. 1 lap to go now as the white flag comes out. And right now he is 4th in the points championship chase, heading into tonight's action here at Mile High Stadium.
And he was our winner back in Seattle in March inside the Kingdom, so he is not a stranger to Victory Circle in the Mickey Thompson Tour. And a challenge for the lead now.
Kevin Smith tried to make a move, cannot make it stick, got a little bit sideways in the rhythm section. Gary Gall maintains the lead. 2 turns yet to go.
Kevin's a 2-time winner on the Tour this year. He claimed the victory at Anaheim for 1, and here we come off the final corner. Checkered flag is going to go to car number 8, Kevin Smith. At this point in the race, Marty Hart was leading in the red and white number 3. And look at the wheel on Mitch Mustard's car. That is why. Mitch went off hard on the right nose. The wheel broke, but then he was able to get the lead back as Marty Hart made a mistake. Unfortunately for Mitch Mustard, he would not be able to hold on to the lead as the wheel was just too damaged, and the victory instead would go to this man, number 8, Kevin Smith, who made a dramatic pass coming out of the last corner right here on car number 5, Gary Gall, was able to power across the checkered flag for the win.
Jerry Whelchel clinches the Super 1600 crown. Hello again, everybody. I'm Marty Reed, working alongside with Ralph Shaheen, and we are down to the final round of the 1993 Stadium Off-Road Racing season. Fact is brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers.
Many of you might be wondering how a beautiful grass field that you see behind me here in Candlestick Park is transformed into a racetrack for the Mickey Thompson Off-Road Series. Well, as I take a couple steps to my left here, you see here construction is underway. They're putting in over 700 truckloads of dirt. That's 25 million pounds of clay-based earth that they bring in, and believe it or not, they do this in only 2 days. Now, some stadium managers and coaches of the football teams are a little bit nervous when they find out that all this dirt might be on their pretty little playing field. But believe it or not, in 11 years, there hasn't been one complaint about how the field was left. Quite a testimony to this portable chunk of Baja we're racing on tonight.
Let's take a look at highlight action from Super 1600 Heat number 1. Ralph, this had a little bit of everything.
Just after the halfway point, as you saw our flagman with the crossed flags, watch the number 1 of Jerry Whelchel as he was chasing down Gary Gall. Whelchel charging as hard as he could from second place, gets hooked and goes flying. Spins it around on the rear end of the car, over twice completely, and finally comes to a rest down in turn number 3. And Gary Gall went on to claim the checkered flag in heat number 1.
If you thought heat race number 1 had a lot of action, we're going to show you what happened in heat race number 2 of Super 1600.
And the number 8 machine is Kevin Smith, and alongside is Aaron Hawley on the 16, and they became really close friends in this heat. They got hooked up. He rolls right up on top of Kevin Smith, and they just rolled all the way down to turn number 5 like that before finally coming to a rest. As they did, Ed Martinson rolled by. He would finish second, but it was Jimmy Nichols in the number 10 who claimed the win.